guys sure you don't want to do this?
Okay, I'm just trying to help you out.
Tried so hard to see it. Took me so long to believe it, that you choose someone like me to carry your victory. Perfection could never earn it. You give what we don't deserve, and take the broken things and raise them to glory. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won, I am who you say I am. You crown me
Get cruising. Get cruising. Get cruising. We get a picture on the way back.
I'll be the mean one. No problem. Quickly, quickly. I'm loud.
Sorry, I forgot my medicine. Sorry, I forgot my medicine.
Oh, you're fine.
I heard you found some though, right?
Yeah, I got some. Thank you.
No, I love it. Oh, it's so pretty.
Wow.
I want to get that next year.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
How long does it take to travel? I know it's narrow, but how long does it take to travel from top to bottom? Like if you were just to set up. You drive Okay, that's it. Okay, yeah, you covered all of it. You covered all of it. Barring no Adidas openings. Right.
יש אחרס ויש אטרס.
Where do you want to sit?
That's fine.
You sit on the inside.
Unless you don't want to be.
شفتين بياحد.
بس
You might have thought you did.
Got it.
This is the truth.
yeah, it's worked so far. I'm not trying to be.
You're walking out of the frame. Come on.
Ah, no, I don't want to be in the frame. Yeah, I'm gonna get everybody on.
Oh, did you really? Oh, I didn't.
Okay, I'll be back on the front.
See me waving at you?
Yeah, I got all of you guys.
Hey, Dad, where's Galilee?
Okay, Gamma then would be Gamma is okay, northeast.
Hey, Nicole, can you just look at Ella?
When are we gonna I'll just let you go.
I believe that's all. I can tell you all about Ohio. That's Uncle Bill's place. He's a butcher?
Bill's house?
Yeah. Bob, Bill, and Mark. Can't see it.
So as far as what we're looking at right now, Galilee, we were there for many of you. That was like your favorite stop so far, which I'm with you on that. Galilee is northeast on the Sea of Galilee, so in that direction, this way. Now, if you're looking forward and you see, at least there was some smoke there for a bit, but it looks like they stopped. Capernaum would be about right here. So if the front of the boat was 12 o'clock, you're looking at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock-ish, 1 o'clock, be Capernaum. Magdala is right here. So Mary Magdalene. We talked about that road from Nazareth. It would have been Arbel, so it would have been right on the other side of that. So you think about Jesus coming to Galilee, let's say for the first time to come down through here. Magdala. Then you have, we'll talk about Gennesaret in a little bit, which should be right next to Magdala, between Magdala and Capernaum over here. Susita, which we'll be at tonight, is about 3 o'clock. You see that, it's almost like a little trail going up the the hill. The top would be Susita. And the cliffs of Gadara, the pigs, would be that section over there. So you think about the story of Jesus casting out the demons of the man who lived in the cave, the one of the pigs. It would be that area right there. The Sermon on the Mount we were at yesterday would be, I'm just looking here, pretty much straight ahead, right?
Yeah, straight.
Yeah, straight ahead. Again, we don't know if that's where the Sermon on the Mount was, but that would have been, that's the traditional site, that's where we were yesterday. And then, as Yael said on the bus, Tiberias, which would have been being built, a lot of construction probably in this area, my guess is during the time of Jesus. Jordan River is behind us.
Jordan Machunga's right here. Wait, in front of us and behind us, there's someone that's floating in Galilee.
Yeah, Jordan River, yeah.
The one that we just barely saw when we crossed over.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
He comes in. Reached the shores. Crowds are waiting for him. But out here, it was just more calm. This is where the 12 disciples really got to know Jesus, if you think about it. On more of a personal level. Because up on the hills, as he's teaching up on the hills all around, and in the cities, it's crowds, it's chaos. Jesus would have to use his booming voice to talk to thousands of people on the hillside. But out here in a smaller boat, it was just more personal. Out there, he was the leader, he was the teacher. But out here, he's just more of a friend, more of a mentor. You imagine just taking just one boat ride with them, right? How many times did the disciples think that they were going to go underneath the surface of these waters? Just have Jesus instantly calm these waters. Like these very waters right here were calmed by Jesus Christ. These very waters Jesus walked on. Let's just imagine that for a second. Matthew 14 tells us that they went to Gennesaret after Jesus walked. So if you have your Bibles, you can turn to Matthew 14. And a little bit will be in Mark chapter, I think it's Mark chapter 4 later on. But in Matthew, what did I say? Matthew 16, right?
14.
Right, sorry. So in Matthew chapter 14, it tells us that Jesus, toward the end of the story, it says that Jesus ended up in Gennesaret, which would be between Magdala and Capernaum. So Jesus, when he walks on water, he's walking, it says he was out in the wilderness when he feeds the thousands. Now, we're not quite sure where that is. But he ends up over here. So it's not ridiculous to think that he would have walked by this part right here, if you think about it. Matthew chapter 14. It's a dark night, darker than our nights because there's no electricity. So on the shores, if we were out here on the water tonight, there would be lights all around. This guy thinks he's so cool.
Hey, I'm walking on water. Yeah.
But you imagine the scene though, it's darker at night than we're ever really used to. I know, right?
Okay, hot stuff.
Just call this one. I wonder if we could start one. So on the shores, there is no hotel lights. There's really no lights at all, as cities didn't give off much light, no electricity, and all they have is the moon, if there is much of a moon, and if there's no clouds. It's dark. The terrifying sound of wind and waves rock the boat. The creaking of the wood on the ship sends chills to your soul. It's this losing battle as they're heading into the wind. You ever have any of those battles going on in your life? It's just like a losing battle. And it seems like the more you fight, just the more damage you cause. You're making no headway. And the longer you're in this fight, the scarier it gets. Maybe it feels like that with your marriage. Maybe it feels like that with your career. Maybe it feels like that with a child. And it feels like you have absolutely no options. You're exhausted and you're heading toward disaster. This is exactly how the disciples feel. They're about to go under these waves right here. And I wonder if the disciples are annoyed at Jesus. Because if I were to be completely candid with you, I would feel a little annoyance. Because Jesus, he dismisses the crowds and he goes up on one of the hills, as he would often do, to pray. And he tells the disciples to cross the lake. So Jesus sends them out into a storm. Here's a guy who does miracles. He had to know a storm was coming. So Jesus sends the crew out here into the middle of the lake, in the middle of a storm. And sometimes we can feel that way. You know, like he's up there, and we're down here, and we're trying to claw our way through, whatever he's asked us to do, raise a kid, or get to this marriage or career, and often trying to do it on our own power. We know it's not going to cut it. We're just causing all this damage, and it kind of feels like, hey, he's just watching us up there. And so I wonder if the disciples are just a little annoyed. And then I wonder what Jesus is doing up there as he's, on one of these hills as he's praying, and he sees that boat out in the middle of the lake making absolutely no headway. Does he smile a little bit, knowing that he's teaching them a very valuable lesson, a lesson that these disciples will need to know if they're going to birth the church movement? And everybody is literally against them when they birth this church movement. Jesus is trying to
See, just singing this chorus, really simple chorus, and all we know is that he is in control. So I'm going to sing this over you. If you want to sing with me, feel free to sing with me. If you don't know it, it's really easy to catch on to. Oh, that I know is that you are in control. We sing, oh, that I know is that you are in control. Oh, and oh, that I know is that you are in control. Oh, and oh, that I know is that you are in control. Oh, and oh, that I know is that you are in control. Yes, you are, Lord. Oh, that I know is that you are in control. This next part's taken right from the Psalms. In the valley of the shadow, I will trust in you. Like a tree that's firmly planted, I will not be moved. Surely goodness and mercy always follow through. Oh, you follow through every single time, God. And in the valley of the shadow, I will trust in you. Like a tree that's firmly planted, I will not be moved. Surely goodness and mercy always follow.
headed to. The storm is calmed. Susita again will be up there this evening, but it's about in front of the boat about 9 o'clock. So that's where they end up, would be that area after the storm on the waters. Where they're coming from, not exactly sure. Get them over here. So it's been right around here though. That Jesus sort of calmed them in these waters. We're headed right there as we read this next. Feel free to grab pictures.
Yeah.
Storm's good. It's a neat area, just like this town.
You gonna get photos or anything? Your camera takes better photos. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. He's got a better camera. Mhm.
The flag, or do you want?
Yeah, right. We'll have some.
Andrea and Rich get up there with the flag?
They can. Yeah.
I'll let ya.
So gracious.
Share.
Yeah.
Okay, right before somebody beats you. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh,
Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry.
excuse me, excuse me.
Oh, Oma.
Should get them.
Oma, let's get a picture. Hold on. welcome you to Magdala, one of the most amazing sites over here in the Galilee and in Israel in general. What makes this place so special? First of all, the fact that we know for sure, that we can assume that Jesus was actually here. Jesus taught in this synagogue, not only in this place, in this synagogue. And why can I know it with such certainty? Because Magdala is one of the only sites in the area where there's only one layer of history. Okay? The entire city that you see around you, and we're going to see the other side of it in a few minutes, is all from the days of Jesus. It is all from the first century. It was destroyed during the Great Rebel against the Roman Empire. Remember the city of Gamla? So this city was destroyed as well, and since then ceased to exist. It was covered by a layer of destruction, and then nothing more. So when this place was discovered in the year 2006, it is by mere coincidence, a very wealthy Mexican businessman bought property over here after having a vision, and he decided to build a very big hotel over here. So he purchased some land and he started the construction. On the first day of work, the first thing that the truck hit was this amazing, unique, only stone that was found. He hit the synagogue. Okay, we are standing here next to the synagogue of Magdala. Needless to say, unlike other places where you discover the antiquities, you document them, you take them away to the museums and you keep on with the work, here it was a completely different thing. They said, okay, so there's not going to be a hotel here. we are going to go on excavating, and actually he kept on buying lands next to us to continue with the excavations. The excavations over here are done both by the Israeli Authority of Antiquities and two Mexican universities that are ongoing with the excavations all the time. The man himself got some land right next to us. So this beautiful hotel, the Magdala Hotel, is actually the one that he planned to build to begin with. But actually he was so happy with these discoveries. He was really, and what it gave us is really a glimpse to the world of Jesus, in the days of Jesus. So let's walk around over here to see a little bit of the beauty of this synagogue. We're going to take a general look at the synagogue, and then I promise you we're going to come back to this stone and talk a little bit more about it. Guys, if you want, you can continue walking around, walking. I'm standing over here, so I won't disturb the other guy talking here. The main hall of the synagogue is the one over here. So let me... Okay, this really is one amazing piece of work. Empire, it even says that the Roman emperor used to eat the fish of Magdala because they were a sign of quality. They were so tasty. Okay, so these are the salting pools of Magdala.
What is this thing?
What
Is
is
there
what?
this round one right here?
Yeah, this is probably a grinder, okay, that was used for flour. You bring the wheat over here, you find it, and you have flour to prepare food. And we have also oil presses, again, this is the industrial
sorry. I was like, did she see that? Stop. What does this do?
Oh, it's just the power charger.
It charges it.
Yeah.
So you mean, I thought that had to go into the wall.
Huh? This piece?
No, I mean, this whole thing, can you just, like, if I want to put that in my phone, it'll charge my phone?
Yeah.
I don't need to put it in the wall?
No.
I thought a piece was missing.
You could have been using it the whole time.
I'm like an antique. I'm like one of these.
So talking about your upcoming exam, after the visit here in Magdala, I expect you to identify a mikveh every time we pass next to one, all right? Yeah?
Imagine doing that.
Because it's not. Because that's where it originated.
But it's not very big, it's just enough to... Well, mikvehs or ritual baths like this one come in all sizes and shapes. These are more intimate ones, but then again, you have an entire area of one mikveh next to the other.
Wow.
Why do you have so many mikvehs? We don't have a temple over here, but we do have priests living over here. Okay, the families of priests, there were 24 families of priests. I'll move a little bit forward so everybody can see forward. Okay, so we have 24 families of priests. The idea was that every family of priests has to contribute 2 weeks a year to Jerusalem, to the actual work in the temple. Where do they live in the rest of the year? Many of them here in the Galilee. So here was the place of one of those families of priests. Therefore, they are even more strict about purification. And this is one of the reasons why we find so many ritual baths over here. You can find small baths in Jerusalem, in the high-end area. Think about a spa, but when you go into the mikveh, you're on your own. Usually with a woman who watches over you to make sure that you, when you bathe inside the mikveh, is kosher. What does it mean kosher?
Clean. Pretty clean. Oh.
About women who still do it, of course it's going to be all kinds of religious women. Okay, never mind if they're Orthodox, they're just like Orthodox religious women, but all of them are going to because in Judaism there are only 2 things that women are obligated to do, while the men have a list of things they are obligated to do. Women have to do 2 things. They have to maintain the purity of the family, in other words, use the mikveh. The second one is to light the Shabbat candle, welcome the Shabbat into the house just before sunset, and that's a woman's job. How come women have only 2 things they have to do? It depends how you choose to look at it, of course, okay? So you can say, chauvinists, right? Or the way they would explain it to you is they would say, and listen to these ladies, women are naturally born on a higher spiritual level. Therefore, we don't need to go ahead and do all those things that men are obligated to do. Those are the things that we have to do because we are saints.
That close to perfect.
Of course we are.
Okay.
So next to us on the right-hand side, we're passing a part of the residential area. More and more areas are being excavated all the time. You can see the sign, the white sign over there saying archaeological excavation.
You guys remember that my father's house maybe mansion. What is mansion? My father's house many roofs. You know, when you look at movies, you know, they thought about heaven looks like this big, huge villa with tennis courts, because that's my father's mansion, but that's not what it is. The way that commoners used to live during the time of the first century AD is exactly what you see behind you. You have the nucleus, you have the inner structure of the house.
Sorry. Kathy, we know.
Finding what you're looking for.
Teaching and gathering. Praise and worship is a very, very late addition. When Jesus said in the Mount of Hell, you're the yes. You can actually say you've been to hell and came back. So when Jesus looked down and he said, "On this rock I shall build my church." Community, not church. Not church. Same thing goes, by the way, for the book of Revelation. To the angel of the church of Laodicea, it's not the angel of the church of. It's not an angel with a horn sitting on a building. It's the messenger. It's the messenger, and the church is the community. It's flesh and blood. This is very, very important to us because what we're going to see right now, we will learn to understand how Jesus builds his community. You guys hear me? Yeah. So, a synagogue is a place of gathering. Actually, that's the meaning in Hebrew. In Hebrew, it's called Beit Knesset. Knesset, gathering. The name of our parliament is Knesset. Right? So, talk about Den of Thieves, but okay, that's where you're going to be Jerusalem. Politicians. But Knesset is gathering. So you gather at a place to worship, to study, mostly study. Mostly study. The understanding of Judaism in the Second Temple period is that it's important to have a place of sacrifice. That goes all the way back to the book of Deuteronomy and also the mention of Josiah. But if you want to speak to our Heavenly Father, speak to our Heavenly Father. You don't need a building. You don't need an institute. That's against Judaism. Later on, we have a boundary around it. That's why it's a beast. So we're gonna see that. That will be the closest, I think, to what that counts that is going to be above the house. You see where the four people going down the structure. Then from there, we're going to go next to the sea. There's a beautiful entrance. I hope it's open. It's a nice place for reflection and for some studies. But before we go, any thoughts? Any questions? Any ideas?
Because the other Byzantine churches that we see on these here, Constantine's mount, they're huge and elaborate.
Yeah.
So was this built at the same time?
This was built a little bit later, not by Helena. I think it was not Justinian. I think it was end of the 4th century AD. But we don't know if it was
Really no evidence at all.
No. The only evidence for us to find the house of Peter's mother-in-law is find a sign saying, "Welcome to Peter's mother-in-law house, please take a picture." That's the only thing.
There was nothing in the house itself that gave any indication.
It's a Second Temple period, 1st century AD, fisherman's home. Absolutely yes.
But we know fishermen.
Yeah, fisherman's home. All of Capernaum is fisherman's home.
But he wasn't actually from Capernaum originally.
No, but then inside, yeah. His mother-in-law was. He was a good husband. I gotta tell that joke. I told that yesterday. Don't shoot me. Why? So I got it. Why did Peter denounce Jesus 3 times? What? Close, because he healed his mother-in-law. I told that joke to my mother-in-law. She didn't laugh.
From there,
Well, it's supposed to be house of Peter, but that is the center right of that, the foundation.
Good girl. Good. Oh, you didn't ask me. No.
If there's no room, you go from above. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay?
It's hard to see.
We can try. That was funny.
You see kind of like the pics waking up. Think about it. You read it in your room. Peter's mother-in-law was the original synagogue that Jesus
That is the House of Peter. It's the Catholic Church over the top of. Yeah. We're gonna go see it right now.
Oh, that's it.
That's why I said it's a spaceship.
I always see it in photos.
I heard some people ask that. I don't know. It's not a monument, but that is definitely down there. No. It's a square.
Yeah.
So you sit in the middle. It's kind of like in Judaism, they call it the bima. Bima, unlike the church, and you have a divider, like a process and that kind of stuff, or Catholic. A synagogue is basically you sit across from each other and you debate across. This is exactly about how Jesus taught. He used to sit down, not from above. He wasn't the preacher. He was the teacher. The big difference was sitting in the eye level when he teaches the disciples or the multitude. Okay, so there's a lot of people there. So let's go and see the B side. This is A, by the way. This is all A, 100% Capernaum from the time of Jesus. Fisherman's home. And if you look carefully, you can see all those little rooms. In my father's house, there are many rooms. Yeah.
Small groups, the most biblical thing we got.
true. I'm not even sitting on the stage anymore. I'm sitting on the wall. That people. Yeah, you're gonna be right in the middle, dude.
Worship in the room.
Let's ask some questions. Then where did that come from?
Let me jump.
Entonces, la segunda sílaba es la siguiente. ¿Me está escuchando? ¿Ves aquí estamos viendo? La primera sílaba.
Yeah, everybody comes here, but
So, I mean, what all these people are looking at, they're looking at the remains of the Byzantine church, that octagonal shape, and in it you see a structure, like a semi-round structure, that is supposed to be the house of Eve. Again, that's the this is not in it.
Sí lo pueden ver todos.
I want to take us to the beach over there and do some more studies on the beach. But if you want to go and take a look, please do. No? We're good? All right. Okay.
that's a beef fight.
A beef fight.
Want to go to Manny Jesus didn't want to go to Bridge. Because he didn't want to go to Bridge.
What do you mean he didn't want to go to Bridge?
He didn't want to go to
Who's that random girl?
Who's that random? Weirdo.
Let's sit on this bench and look at the...
I have to cut that part.
I'll do one little thing and then some time for reflection.
Coming over here with curiosity. I think the Pharisees were upset that Jesus wasn't charged. Magdala was 12. I always thought the folks that were funding Jesus were more Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. Isn't that's not the same Mary? Right?
Mary Magdala was the biggest one.
That's separate. She wasn't sisters with Martha.
No. It's not a separate. No.
All right, yeah. Oh, well, I know that much, but I just was like, wait a minute, I thought those two siblings were bankrolled.
The aloe probably. Okay, wait, what are we, now you really messed mine up, thanks.
No, just laughing at my own question earlier.
Well,
you seem to be running out of
we
answers.
cannot see Gamla, but you see that mountain right in front of us, right over there?
Right.
That's where we were yesterday. So that overlooks Gamla. Gamla is straight ahead of in front of us. That's Gamla, right there.
Right, so those two mountains come down and past that is Gamla.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
you were saying about being able to see the lights of Gamla.
Exactly. City on a hill cannot be hidden. Yeah, exactly. go to the Galilee. I was gonna say Magdala, man, it's so done like
לא ידום ולא ישאל, לא